joining the session on time. And yes, we are going to kickstart immediately. So 2 o'clock is 2 o'clock. Welcome everyone to our second quarter customer cybersecurity awareness webinar. So before we commence, I just want to recognize the presence of our CISO, Harrison Energy, has joined the session, and all of the distinguished guests and speakers who will be delving into the topic that we have for today. So the theme that we are discussing today is going to be about the global events, basically. So what customers need to know about global events, emerging scams, and how to stay financially safe. That is the theme, and that's why we are gathered here today. And the session is going to last for, is built to last for 2 hours, 2 very interesting hours. So I would crave your indulgence, everyone, to please pay attention as all of our guests take down this theme for the benefit of all our customers who we would continue to put first. So what I'll do right now, I'll just do a rundown of all of the distinguished guests who will be presenting today, right? So we have Fumilola Odumobuni. She's a partner in Africa Consulting Services at Deloitte and a seasoned security professional with deep experience performing cybersecurity and IT risk-related services for several organizations. Basically, she's worked across financial services, energy manufacturing, telecommunications, etc. Right? And she will be represented by Yetunde Olofinle. Yetunde Olofinle is the Africa Consulting Services Manager, also at Deloitte. She works within the Cyber Technology and Transformation Unit at Deloitte, and she brings over a decade of experience in cybersecurity, IT audit, privacy, IT governance, risk management. And she's a certified trainer who has trained over 1,000 participants across various courses. And she's going to be taking a session of the presentation we have today. We also have Duke Abanum, who is the group head of internal control and enhancement in First Bank, right? So he's going to be chairing a session, and he'll be presented by Oluchukwu Nwachukwu, who is the head electronic business and operations control. So Duke has also an extensive experience, over 2 decades, specialized in operational risk management, control design, regulatory compliance, driving resilience and operational integrity across the organization. He works in First Bank currently, he has worked in Stanbic IBTC in the past, he's worked in Citibank in the past. And we also have Emmanuel Okoroji as well, who is the head of our threat intelligence and incident management at First Bank. So he has over 2 decades of professional experience spanning technology, security operations, and risk management. Emmanuel brings a deep expertise in threat intelligence, incident response, and digital forensics, right? And he holds several industry-leading certifications. And then finally, myself, I'll just be the moderator for today, guiding the section. So for the first thing we'll discuss, or the first item on the agenda, is to have the opening remark by the chief host. So that will be Emmanuel Okoroji. So he would take that opening remark and welcoming everybody to the session and starting the session. So I'll hand over the mic over to Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, for that introduction. And of course, speaking to the topic of today. Welcome all our participants. We've been doing this for 4 years, and basically we've taken this to greater heights. Customer sensitization is one key way of, mitigating the impact of cybercrime. And cybercrime over time has continued to spiral and grow. But the idea is to keep our customers and participants of this engagement informed. Information is a differentiator. The environment, is not really very showing us very positive signs. Globally, there are wars, recession. Within Nigeria, we have the terrorism that is also having its own impact in terms of how cybercrime is being perpetrated and carried out within the context of our country. And really, one way to mitigate this is by staying informed, having adequate information, and of course, imbibing the practices that we share here. I will take some time to recognize the presence of Dr. Harrison Naidu. He's our GCSO, and of course, he had been running this engagement for quite a long time with me moderating. But today, I think we switched batons, and I'm glad that this has been entrusted to me. And of course, the idea is for us to keep growing and growing our participants and customers also. So the CISO, you're welcome. Please, if you also want to take maybe just a few minutes to speak to the topic of today, which is cybersecurity in a volatile world. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, participant. Promises to be as exciting as possible. Thank you.
Yes. Just to let everybody know that the same approach, improved delivery, just to make sure that you have the right knowledge and you understand what is happening. This section is actually also serving as current affairs for some people. So we are going to deliver as usual, making sure that everyone has enough to take out of the session. So welcome again to the awesome session. So, and you see how we're also building resilience to make sure that there's continuity in everything that we do, which is part of what we are doing now. So enjoy the session, ask your questions, engage, collaborate, co-create, so that at the end of the day, by just doing 20% of what you will get out of here, you will be part of the last 20% that will be experience cyber or fraudulent, become a victim of cyber or fraudulent activities. So please, let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ciso, for that. So yes, the floor is open. So we would have the first special guest who's going to be making her presentation. That's Yetunde Olofile. But I want to point out that there are exciting prizes because there's going to be a quiz at the end of all of the presentations. So we're going to have 3 presentations. And after the presentation, there's going to be a panel discussion session. During that session, we're going to take all of the questions. So basically, I know you're going to have a lot of questions as the presenters are making their presentation. So I'm going to just crave your indulgence to hold your questions till the end of the presentation so that we can take them together. So we'll have an interactive Q&A at the end of the presentations, a series of presentations we're going to have. And then we'll do a quiz and survey. And to be honest, the people who actually pay attention and score the top 3 would get some prizes. So that's something that we should take note. So please relax and be ready to be enlightened, basically. So Yetunde, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Soma. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to quickly appreciate the leadership of First Bank for the invite. I'm standing in for Funmi Odumobuni, who is unavoidably absent. You would have loved to be here, but yes, I'm here and I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful to be here. So thank you. Please let me know if you can see my screen. I'm sharing already. Okay, great.
Yes.
I can see the thumbs up. Okay, great.
All
right. So I also want to mention that this topic is extremely critical. It's a very critical and timely conversation that we are having. Cybersecurity in volatile world. You will agree with me that when we say, oh, in the future, we're already living in the future, and it is important that we start adapting and we start adjusting to this new world. We start learning how to navigate the real world. So for me, I think this is a very timely conversation. And please let us, be attentive. Let's participate. Ensure that you pick 1 or 2 things from all the speakers, all the panelists that will be here today. Okay, so do you know that a cyber criminal sitting very far, it could be in Australia, could be in Malaysia, could be anywhere in the world, can actually empty a bank account within a minute? Like the barrier, it's now on the floor. Before now, it takes critical skills, it takes some specialized skills. When we watch Hollywood, then you will see hackers, how they hacking in and all of those things. the technology, the tools, the way you could see they will project them in a dark room, wearing dark hoodie and all of those things. But now the barrier to entry when it comes to cybercrime, it's now on the floor. And why? Because of the times that we are in. We are, like I said, we are living in the future, the world of AI, the world of advanced, extremely advanced technology. And that is why you can be, somebody could be in a very remote village, as remote as, um, you know, a village, maybe somewhere in Ondo State, and someone in Australia or in Malaysia or in Jamaica will just enter your account just like that in split second because of the times that we are in. Now, it's important also to know that there are a lot of attacks. There are attacks are emerging. They are changing. They are emerging as to the kind of threats we saw last some decades ago, maybe even 5 years ago, even 3 years ago. They are different. What we are seeing now are different. They sort of metamorphose. The top emerging scams that are affecting customers today, we are seeing fake bank alerts. We are seeing you get, oh, you have received this bank alert, this account, this amount. You see fake bank alerts. They could tell you, oh, call this number or put a link there. You want to also just get to know more. You could see like messages like your account has been restricted, and click here to unlock your account. And we are seeing all of those. Then OTP and PIN harvesting, your credentials, your password, your username, your OTP. They are getting calls. People are getting calls. I think last year, their brother-in-law actually fell for a scam, OTP. Somebody had just called and said, "Oh, hello, there was a code from your bank," and just harmlessly he shared his OTP, and the next thing was just seeing was debit, debit, debit. I was like, ah. Within seconds. So we are seeing all these are still happening. And I know we say it every time, and to some people it has become like a song, like chorus. Don't share your PIN, don't share your OTP, but people still do, and we will continue to create awareness because cyber criminals are still profiting from this. There are still a lot of people out there who are not aware of these things. So we are seeing WhatsApp account takeovers. Just on Sunday, something very funny. Just on Sunday here, something very funny happened. My brother called me and he was like, "Oh, um, our uncle called, reached out to him and said, my sister that was involved in a fire accident, maybe domestic fire, and he was in the hospital. They needed money, that she sent money. He was in the church, an elderly man. He was about sending the money. I think he was because he was scared and was like, oh my goodness, he must have told someone in church, and they told him, confirm, call them. Then he called my brother, and my brother now called me. I said, I just spoke with my sister. So you could see somebody could take over somebody's account and maybe send messages. You think somebody is chatting you, and you will think is that person. You would not know that that account has been taken over. We've seen instances where, in fact, in the last, if I say everybody on this call should just raise their hand if they've received such messages where somebody will reach out to you, the same number you know this person, but the account has been taken over by someone else, and they're now soliciting for urgent 2K or some money, or it could be big money, and you're like, okay, this person would not have. Some people would fall for it, but you will be like, okay, this person will not be asking for this. So we are seeing that, and not just WhatsApp alone, even social media, Facebook. Somebody could have taken over somebody's Facebook or Instagram, and so we are seeing that, you know, being rampant. Then also investment and Ponzi schemes. I know a lot of, the days of MMM, we are now in the days of MMM that has come back, it has metamorphosed. Maybe it's not going to be MMM, but we are seeing different things. I think 2 years ago or last year, we saw CBEX. They're just different because of the times we are in. We are in those times where yes, where people would want to double because of the economic hardship. People would want to make money, want to double their money. There are different investment opportunities, and we are seeing all of this. And it's important that we are alert and we are careful. We are informed of what is going on. Then also, we are seeing fake customer care agents. and it's now very hard to tell, because before somebody will call you, hello, I'm a customer agent. Even with the accent, you know, like, okay, this person cannot be a First Bank, a First Bank staff. But now with AI, they're able to perfect it. They could have cloned, they're able to perfect their grammar, their accent, and it could be believable. The person will talk to you like a customer care. It's no longer the Benin accent that you hear, or one egotic accent, and you're like, okay, this cannot be a customer representation. But now, with technology and tools and the evolution of all of these things, we are seeing those things metamorphosed and being really, really convincing. Then, since swap fraud, people are like, people could, swap your SIM and act as you, impersonate you. We also think KYC, update, fake KYC updates. You get emails, you get, oh, that we need to update your KYC. Even, and you fall for these things. So we need to be informed. We're seeing that, and all of these things, actors are using it, cyber criminals are using it to cash out. And I've talked a lot about AI because we are in the age of AI. Um, there's really no awareness about cyber criminals that will not, touch on AI, because that is what is really driving a lot of these things. We are seeing AI powered impersonations, from voice cloning to deepfakes, videos, and different things. And so those are the things that we are seeing today. Now, I just also want to let us just see what the face of crime last, what it was yesterday. When I mean yesterday, it could be last year, it could be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and what we are seeing today. Before, obvious scams emails. When you read those emails, even we as privacy, as a cybersecurity or privacy professionals will tell you, check for bad grammar. Before, those were, on my slides, you see that before. But now everybody is using AI with ChatGPT, with Claude, with Copilot, any of these things. You can craft a very convincing, very clean emails. So those mistakes, you won't find it anymore. So today's phishing are more sophisticated. They are plain. They are very professional, because they are AI generated. So we are not looking at poor grammars again. Today we are seeing deep fake videos that you can barely tell. You can't even. It will take extra caution for you to tell that, okay, this is actually a deep fake video. This is actually a deep fake voice, or a voice cloning. We have the days of generic messages that you say, dear customer. Those are over, long gone. Attacks are now targeted. They know your name. If they even know, they know your father's name. They know everything about you. So it's targeted. It's not generic. They're not saying things that are random things that people can actually maybe assume or just guess. No, they are now very, very targeted. They are using AI, and they are using social engineering to ensure that they know you, and that attack is targeted towards you. It's not generic. Okay. So also, because we're talking about, global events happening, and why are we seeing all of these scams? Why I've mentioned AI. AI is a major factor, but it's not only just AI. There's also global conflict and geopolitical tension. So what do I mean by that? When we have things happening around the globe, maybe there is one war somewhere, like what was happening in Israel, UAE, and all of those times. And that could also, attackers can actually leverage that to create, because they also follow the news, they read what is happening. Like now, we are in Nigeria, let's bring it to kidnapping everywhere. Somebody was telling me, I don't know how true, but somebody was telling me that in some regions, I think in those states, that some persons will send you text message and tell you that, oh, they will describe you, they will describe your child, the school your child attends, and they'll tell you that they are coming to pick your child if you don't pay some money. So they are following because they know that, okay, it has become a thing. And those might not really be terrorists. It could just be scammers, like, like the way we say Yahoo people. They could just be and just trying to exploit people, take advantage of the terrorism and the kidnapping that is happening within the country. So when we are seeing all of those conflicts, all those geopolitical tensions, we will definitely see a rise in crime, cyber crime. Then economic uncertainty, where we have inflation, when we have economic downturns, we would definitely see cyber criminals. People will resort to cyber crimes. People will resort to, okay, how can we survive? They call it like their own survival skill. Um, so we'll see that. And that's why during inflation, during economic downturns, we usually see a lot of investment scams, a lot of money, and things like fake loans. They say, oh, you can take this loan in 2 minutes, in 1 second. Those might not be true, might not be real. Then because now our world has become very digital, we are depending a whole lot on our digital platforms. We are in a digital economy. So because of that digital dependency, cybercrime is expanding the attack surface, and it has its own benefits. And also the cyber criminals are also taking advantage of it because they know that you can stay in your house and not even step out. You order your food, you buy, like people that can stay indoors for 1 month, and all their supplies, all their needs, everything will be all those transactions will be online. So because of that, we are seeing rise in cybercrime as well. Then there is also AI. AI is, like I said, it has reduced it has lowered the barrier to entry. Before you can even think of conceive in your mind that you want to become a cyber criminal, that means you have some skills. You must be, a very smart hacker. But now you don't necessarily have to be. They are not they are not the smartest people in the room. They are just leveraging AI to extort people. And we are seeing a lot of online financial services. So these are the trends. These are the things that are increasing cyber crimes. Then how those global events how are they shaping? How are they creating these opportunities for scammers? I just wanted to touch on a little bit on this. When there is hardship, or when there is some major events like election scams, we are seeing, like now we are approaching election period. We'll start seeing a lot of election scams here and there. During COVID, we're seeing a lot of scams around COVID palliatives. Oh, come and collect. In fact, I was just receiving messages left, right, and center. Come and collect palliative. I know that. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure. I was one of the people that government will put to come and collect palliative. But you could see that everybody will come so, and all of those, or click on this link so that you can claim your palliative. We're seeing all of those, and so we just need to be mindful that we are in those periods, we are in those times, and we should recognize the seasons we are in and how these harms, they can come in different shapes, they can camouflage in different forms, but we should be able to recognize them. Um, Hardship, we'll see employment scams. I believe on this call because I remember I used to receive when I was even this one is not even a recent thing. Years ago, you will receive come for this job, come to social location. So you've been offered, you've been given an offer, you click on this link. We're seeing all of those as well. Fake charity scams. When we have um these seasons that we are in, we start seeing different things to come in different forms, and we need to be mindful. Every major events create opportunities for cyber criminals. They are following the news, they are tracking it, they are reading it more than, and they are following the chaos, and they will make sure that they profit from it as well. So we just need to be on guard. Um, I've mentioned now. I want to quickly let you know that trust is the most valuable asset in all of these things. You before now you say, oh, okay, you should trust, but now please you have to zero trust. You're talking about zero trust. Say, oh, trust, but if you verify everything, we'll say, oh, seeing is believing. When you see, you believe. When you hear, you believe. But now, seeing is not believing in the age of AI, in the age of deepfakes. You can see a video. Please don't believe it. Make sure you verify. Make sure you call. Even if somebody sends you a video that this that show you that something has happened, you just need to call and say hello or verify through another channel. When you, especially with voice notes, with voice notes, AI voice cloning, it's very real. You will think that because you've been talking with, you know the person's voice, they will send you voice notes, and you will hear, you think it's your sister or is your someone close to you. Hello, sorry, I'm using somebody else's phone. I'm stranded. Can you send me so and so? And it's that person's voice, but you wouldn't know that they have actually cloned your loved one's voice. So seeing is no longer believing. Trust should no longer be based only on what you've seen or what you've heard. please verify, verify, verify. We cannot even overemphasize verification at this point. All right. So you will be surprised that why some people actually think they are very smart. I've had conversations with people that do think, no, it cannot happen to me. It is not possible because I'm way too smart. I'm smarter than that. And some people too, you hear some things happen to some people, you'll be like, why? No, I think you're smarter than this. No, smart people actually can fall victim. And because the human emotions is the most powerful, you know, tool that the cyber criminals exploit. Nobody will just call you and say, give me your money. No, but they will try to create some atmosphere that will trigger, that will, prepare your emotions that you will just, you will do unthinkable things that you think the kind of scams that you might think you will not fall for. They will create fear, like case of my uncle that got called from church and said, I think he got called and he said, oh, his niece was was involved in a domestic fire incident that she been rushed to the hospital, and he was really scared. He was going to transfer that money until somebody from the church, maybe he told someone in church and said, just verify, call, and he did that. So they will create fear, they will create then greed, all these Ponzi schemes that we are seeing. Another one is still going to come out tomorrow, and people will still lose money because of greed. People and it's because, and sometimes it can also tie down to the economic situation of our country because people are just going through tough times and they're looking for quick way to double their money or survive. But please, let us be mindful. Control your emotions. Greed is an emotion that should be controlled. Then urgency, they create urgency. Oh, this is very, very important. You need to do it now. Your KYC information, if not, will block your accounts. They'll send you that link. You have to update it now. So let us be mindful when we get those kind of urgency. It could be even phone calls that is creating that. Just pause and think. Curiosity, it's good, but it's also we also say curiosity kills the cat, right? So it's always good that we don't allow our curiosity to take over our emotions. We don't allow our curiosity to make us lead to fall for these scams. So don't be too curious that you go and click some links and say, I want to know where this link will lead to. I can tell you where it will lead to. You need to where your credentials will be harvested or downloading malware to your devices. Okay, trust. They will also try to. Most of them will not just call you and say, "Send me your money." Of course, they won't do that, but they might, come and win your trust, and you will be like, "Oh, I know this person. I trust this thing," and you will do it. Please, like I said, criminals, they no longer have computers. It's now our emotions that they are hacking. They want to leverage, they want to take advantage of our fear emotions, of your trust, of your curiosity, and all of those things. Now, how do we stay safe? Does that mean we are helpless? No. That's why we are having this awareness session. We are not helpless. We we are not helpless. We just need to stay secure. So secure your accounts, use strong password, protect your devices, download or install softwares, good softwares. Do not then install um, antivirus on always update your software. If you can have antivirus, please do that. Then also protect your information. Don't give out your information carelessly. Limit what you share online. Do not share, and also verify. I talked about verification. Then monitor your accounts regularly. Know how much you have. Monitor your accounts so that when something doesn't feel right, you're able to report it. When something but what should you do when something goes wrong? Please stop engaging immediately. Once you see that, oh, I think, don't say, oh, I've gotten too deep. I just need to follow it through. No. Once you realize that, I think I've been engaging a cyber criminal, stop engaging immediately. Contact your bank, reach out to them through secure channels. Report immediately. If you can block your cards, do that immediately. Change your passwords, change your credentials, and report. Speed matters in all of these things. The earlier you report, the earlier you stop the attack, the better you are able to, or your chances of either minimizing your financial loss and all of those. Now, it's a shared cybersecurity is actually a shared responsibility. The bank has some roles to play. The banks will implement security controls, they monitor, they try to have secure platforms. But we as customers, we need to be vigilant, we need to verify, and we need to ensure that we are, safe online, secure behavior. You are not sharing, you're not oversharing. So we have our own part to play. If you are going to take anything from this presentation, I want you to remember these three things. Think before you click, don't be too curious and you're clicking everything. And verify before you trust. Trust is your greatest asset, and make sure you verify. Don't spend it anyhow. Make sure you verify, and act quickly when something feels wrong. Act. Yes, so that is that. And awareness is your greatest asset. Thank you so much. I think my time is up. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you, thank you, thank you,
participation.
thank you, thank you very, very much, Yetunde, for that wonderful, insightful, didactic presentation. You took a lot of lessons from it, and thank you for keeping it to time as well. And yes, yesterday I set the bar for all of our speakers. Very straight to the point, concise, very clear, and all of the points were actually very well noted. The barrier to cybercrime, how it is very easy right now. I saw some comments in the chat. Someone who was saying, what do you mean by Ibotik and Bini accent? You know you know exactly what we mean, right? So in the past, yes, and yesterday actually said it. In the past, it was easy to tell when a scammer is talking to you because they will obviously not sound as polished as you'd expect somebody who works in the bank would sound like. But that all of that is gone now, and yesterday actually made it clear that the barrier to entry is now on the floor. So it is very important. She spoke about the top emerging scams affecting customers, listed a number of them. She also spoke about the new face of cybercrime and obviously all of the things that technology is enabling right now, enabling the attackers or enabling the scammers to perpetrate, right? And she gave some of the justifications of why cybercrime is rising. Obviously, the things with the economy is hard, both macro and micro. A lot of uncertainty, there's inflation, and yes, there's enabling technologies and the rest. And she also says, no matter how smart we are, there is the reason why a number of us will still fall for scams. We'll be wondering, why did this happen to me? I thought I was better than this. And she gave us some of those reasons: fear, greed, urgency, curiosity, trust, right? Overall, it was a very insightful. So she ended by telling us that we should think before we click, verify before we trust, and act quickly. So thank you very, very much to our first speaker of the day tonight. I hope we are having fun. So continue to give her a round of applause. I saw a couple of those. Let's do that. Let's keep them coming for Yetunde while we prep our next speaker, our next distinguished speaker. Representing Abanum Internal Control, that's Mr. Oluchukwu Nwachukwu, who is the head of Electronic Product Control. Mr. Oluchukwu, sir, can you hear us? Do you want to unmute so we show that?
I can hear you clearly.
Beautiful.
Can hear me too.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. So the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thanks. Confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, sir, I can. Just make it in. Yeah, correct. Thank you. We can see it loud and clear.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm actually representing Duke Banum, who's unavailably absent. So diving straight into the presentation, starting from where you can stopped. It's important we recognize that there's a rapid evolution of the banking landscape. It has made digital transaction the way to go, and become an essential part of our everyday financial activity because offering convenience, speed, and accessibility. However, this shift has also introduced increasing sophisticated security risk, then leaving us with better skilled fraudsters who are ready to virtual fraud. These threats now primarily target customers actually by exploiting trust, urgency, like the vehicle in this room, and human behavior rather than breaching the bank system directly. So in response, I think that First Bank is organizing this webinar to sensitize customers to these emerging risks and equip them with practical fraud prevention tips, empowering them to better protect their financial assets and within the increasing digital environment. How global events are increasing fraud risk? Yeah, well, again, we have to record the issue of economic pressure. Economic pressure across the world, when in Nigeria here, is also leading to increase fraud numbers. The AI-powered attacks, AI tools have made messages more convincing, fake messages more convincing than voices. So it can hardly detect which one is the real one and the one that's the fake one. Across the world, there are global data breaches, which has also exposed customers to fraud. You can also agree that AI can now clone voices, generate fake bank emails, mimic real conversation that you can hardly detect which one is the fake one. Fraud is becoming actually harder to detect. The new reality of fraud. Most fraud actually starts from outside the bank. Typically, like you also told the code in this house today, the activity actually starts outside the bank. Customers are primarily targets, and the cyber criminals are becoming more social engineers. They are no longer just hackers, they are social engineers. The customer receives the account, your account will be blocked today. Click here to update your details. Most of the time, 80% of the time, these victims will click before thinking. How fraud actually happens? This is a typical scenario we go through every day, end to end, when a fraud happens. As a contact is made, that contact actually happens outside the bank. They create a sense of urgency. That sense of urgency puts you under pressure to act immediately. They don't want to give you a chance to think. They ask, and that mix of confusion, they will ask you for your customer information, e.g. the OTP. And once you release the OTP, what you see in the next 30 seconds will hit you, immediate use. And what that means is that once you are contacted and that sense of urgency is created, they won't give you a chance to even talk to anybody. All you want to do is to release the next information they're asking you. And then the heat of that confusion, they will ask for the customer details like OTP, password, or whatever they need. And once you release it, in the next 10 seconds, 15 seconds, what you get is the alert, and the account is cleaned out. Let's look at the top 4 scams affecting customers in 2020. I want to bring in something home, something more sophisticated, something we can relate with on day to day. One of them is phishing, whether it's SMS or email. And how does this work? You just fake bank messages with links you receive. You receive fake bank messages, and the impact is the account is taken over, because once you receive those text messages and respond to it, the next thing that will happen to you, the account is taken over, and you receive a lot of debit, and you'll be running helter-skelter how you want to protect your account at that point. And what fraudsters don't do is to leave you with any balance. They want to clean out as much as possible within the shortest possible time. Phishing is one that comes through the phone call. Fraudsters pretend to be a bank staff. Yetunde talked about it here. They pretend to be a bank staff. With the help of AI, they come with tones that are very sophisticated, that sounds like even more sophisticated than the bank staff, that is more believable. And once you hear those tones and you don't take time, you will release the OTP and PIN. And once that happens, the transaction will begin to happen. The account takeover itself is when they gain access to the account. When they gain access to your account, they take over the account completely. And in fact, sometimes they knock you off. And once they have the full access, what you see next is transactions coming in alert, and you at that point, the customer, will be running, looking for how to block the account. And they will not leave you. They will not leave that account until they clean it out. Again, another one is that fake investment platforms. When they promise you high returns, you get an investment like you put 50,000 in next 1 week, you get 300,000. Then you tend to follow that trend because you feel that there is over expectation. You believe that there's a miracle happening to you. And once you answer to that miracle, the next thing you will see that you discover that the money is gone. Phishing, what does phishing look like? Just like I said, we believe that when we go through this today, we have practical examples of what we can relate with. So you say a message like this, typical message, dear customer, your account is restricted. Update now. They create that urgency. Update it now. What are the red flags you're likely going to see? Something like a shortened link, like that one is on the screen. You create an urgent tone. Act now. They don't want you to think. They want you to do whatever they want you to do right now. You will see something like spelling inconsistencies. If you look well, you see spelling inconsistency. And most time, if you can double check from your bank site, you see that that is not coming from official bank domain. And again, I would like to say very clearly, that First Bank will never ask you for OTP, PIN, or password via link. Social engineering, the biggest threat. This is actually working on your behavior, human behavior, not the system. Here, what they're actually breaching is the human behavior, it's not the system. Best is they create the fear, the account is under attack. Once you hear that message, the card is blocked. They just want to let you feel, have that sense of urgency, of expectation. Sometimes we use the word greed. Then you have won 500 million, you have won 5 million, you have won 1 million, you have won 500,000, things like that. And because of this of expectation that is possible, and maybe a miracle, maybe a prayer is being answered, you tend to play in that side. And then there is trust. I'm calling you from a bank. You tend to trust that they're calling from a bank. First speaker I talked about trust is no longer it. So you don't need to, you have to believe, you have to double check. So customer receives a call, we are reversing a fair transaction. Please provide OTP. Because maybe you have a fair transaction and you think that your transaction is going to be reversed, then you provide whatever number that's into your OTP. Once you get the OTP is used to transfer the fund immediately. They won't even give you a chance to come back to check what you are doing again. Account takeover. Account takeover occurs when customers, or the first have actually gain access to your account. Via it can be the mobile banking, it can be the online banking, or USSD. So they have the access to your credential. Once inside the account, they initiate unauthorized transaction and lock you out completely. Lock the customer within minutes. What are the warning signs you see? You see something like an unrecognized login or device, sudden loss of network, unauthorized transactions will happen, among others. What do we need to do that's like a preventive mechanism here? Never share your OTP, never share your PIN, never share your login details. Avoid suspicious links or apps. Don't even click. Act immediately if you notice any unusual activity. If you notice any unusual activity, get across to your bank to a secured link. Reset your password if you can. Fraud happens fast. Response speed is critical. When fraud is happening, it happens very fast. And their response, what happened in the first 10 minutes, first 20 minutes is important. Fake investment loan scams. Common channels, WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram. And the typical pitch you see is something like invest 50K, get 150K in 48 hours. Within 48 hours, how possible? When it looks like too real to be good, then you need to take a step back and look at it. In reality, what you see in this message appears there's no control, no regulation, no traceability, and then we'll see that fund disappear. If returns, that percentage interest are guaranteed and are very high, it's too real to be good. Most of the time, it is fraud. 5 things customer must never share. All of us. Never share your one-time password. No matter the situation, no matter the circumstance. Never share. No matter the pressure they are putting into, never share your one-time password. Once you share your one-time password, you have surrendered your account to the fraudster. Your personal identification number, PIN, never share it. Internet banking login details, never share it. Card details, full card number and CVV, never share it. Internet banking login, your full access credential, never share it. If you share any of these, the transaction is considered authorized, because what happens is that you are talking with the system most of the time, and you have told the system to behave in a particular way. Once the system sees the OTP and it is okay, it authorizes the transaction. If the system sees the PIN and it is the correct PIN, it authorizes the transaction. The password correct or not authorized transaction. If the CVV and the card number, you authorize the transaction. So what we need to do is to ensure that we don't share any of this. Once you share it and give it out to a third party, to a fraudster, and he puts it in the right channel, the channel will authorize it, because that is what the engagement you have with the tenant. So once you see this number, and that is why the fraudster will always need you to commit fraud in your account. And that's why I said that the actual fraud actually happens outside the bank, starts from outside the bank before it comes into the bank. Now, what are the practical protection steps? Protecting your account starts with the right habits. Here is what to do right and every day. Enable transaction alerts. Use strong, unique passwords. Activate multi-factor authentication. Lock your phone with PIN and biometrics. These are simple things that will help you to keep your account safe. Your daily behavior, do not click unknown links. That's as the behavior code in this room today. Do not save password in browsers and avoid public Wi-Fi for banking transactions. Safe banking culture. Building a culture of safe banking means making verification and authorization a habit every single time. Always type your bank website manually. You are not type it manually. That's what way you are guaranteed that you are putting the right website. Don't click on links somebody sent to you. Don't click on it if you are not sure of it. So it's always good to type it every single time so that you are sure you are on the right website. Use official mobile apps only. Don't go looking for fake ones or downloading ones you are not sure of. Use official mobile apps only. Verify calls before acting. Always ensure that every call, especially those ones that put you under pressure, when somebody call you and tell you that your uncle is somewhere and is hospital, he needs money and you need to do that fast. If possible, find another number to reach to your uncle. Most times, because the voice you are seeing, if you sound like a voice of your younger brother or your elder brother, those voices can be AI voices. And it looks real to you, and you send the money only to discover that you send the money to a fraudster. Cross-check offers with the bank. Take away, pause, verify before you act. It's important. Pause, verify before you act. What to do if you suspect fraud? Immediate action. Contact the bank. Customer care. Most of the banks, including First Bank, has a customer care center. Contact them. Block your card or your account. Then change your credential if you can. Visit the nearest branch. All of this is, and then remember that speed is critical. First 30 minutes, yes, there's a chance to recover. So what we have noted is that once they take over your account, within the first 30 minutes, the money is always out. Next 1 hour, you can't trace money again. So even when you're going to put a PND on it, discover they have always gone. So it is important that as soon as you notice that you are giving an OTP wrongly, do everything possible to reach your bank. It's important. The first 30 minutes is important. Now, again, it's also important to say that the bank is not leaving you out of this. So it's important to share a few things the bank is doing, and I guess the next speaker will also elaborate on this. Real-time fraud monitoring. This advanced system detects suspicious activity around the clock, 24/7. The bank is doing that. But this to be successful, it means that the customer is also going to do their bit, and the bank is also going to do their bit. So on the side of the bank, ensuring that there is real-time fraud monitoring. Transaction limit and alert, automated controls and notifications keep you informed. Yes, the bank is also doing this. Continuous security upgrades, ongoing improvements to platforms and infrastructure to ensure that our transactions are upgraded and enhanced to meet the reality of the day. A customer awareness program like we are doing here today is initiatives like this one to keep you informed and protected. Security is a shared responsibility between the bank and you. Key takeaways. If you look at what the first speaker said, and what I'm also saying, there's one fact you need to take. Fraud starts with us. I mean us, all of us. Most fraud begins with the customer interaction. A click, a call, or a message. Urgency is a weapon they use. Fraudsters rely on urgency and deception to rush you into mistakes. Once they create that urgency, which is the greatest weapon they have, they're not as sophisticated as we think they are. They are not. We just create that agency, and you will on your own will hand over the credentials or what they need to defraud you to them. And so we need to gather their credentials. Never share your OTP, re-echoing it again, PIN or passwords with anyone ever. Always verify first. Verify before acting on any request, offer, or alert. It's important that we verify before acting on any request, offer, or alert. What this does to you is that it keeps you informed about what you are doing. If you get a link, you're not sure of the link, there's a bank domain, there's a file you can check the correct links. If you have the number to reach to your relationship manager, that's fine. You can do all that. That way you ensure that you are on top of your game at all times. Stay alert, stay informed, stay secure. Your best defense is awareness plus caution. By following these steps, every day you protect not just your money, but your peace of mind. Watch for red flags in every message and call. Stay informed. Keep learning about new fraud tactics and protection. Apply best practices consistently and every single day. Thank you, and we'll take questions when it is time.
All right, thank you so much. So I want to see the reactions to that very, very insightful presentation from a perspective, from the insider, or from somebody who actually the bank's perspective, from the bank's perspective, right? Oluchukwu has broken it down to us exactly what we are seeing, what the bank is seeing, right? So Oluchukwu, the head of electronic business and operations control, has broken it down to tell us exactly what we need to do to protect ourselves, and more importantly, what the bank is doing to protect us, to keep us all safe, to put us first in security, right? So he spoke about some of the technologies, the real-time fraud monitoring, transaction limits and alerts, continuous upgrades that we have from time to time, and the customer awareness that we are currently doing and we continue to do. The chief host actually said at the beginning of the presentation, this is something that we've been doing consistently for 4 years, and we will continue to do, right, every quarter, right, to continue to bring you this message, right, on the things that we must do to continue to protect our end and the customer's end as well. So thank you very, 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 very much, Oluchukwu, for the presentation, right? At this point, we'll be taking the final presentation for the day. I know that there are a lot of people, questions, right? A lot of people wants to have questions. Don't worry. At the end of this presentation, we'll have a session strictly for question and answer, interactive session, right? So we'll be taking the questions. So if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A section, because that's where we'll be putting the questions from. So we'll have some panelist questions, after which we'll go to the Q&A. So at this point, I'll hand over to Mr. Emmanuel Okoroji, the head of threat intelligence and risk management at First Bank, to take us on the last presentation of the day. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dina, for the great job being done in terms of moderating this session. And of course, my thanks also goes out to you today for a very detailed presentation, capturing the essential components of, self-preservation, I will put it, and self-protection, because today, you basically have to protect yourself. That is the reality on ground. Fraudsters and, cyber criminals, they want to put your money in their pocket. And the economy is hard, things are hard. The only way to go is to ensure that you continue to protect your funds. And thank you, Oluchukwu, for that detailed presentation, also from an internal control perspective, which showcased, the level of controls we all need to be aware of, and of course, what the bank is doing. And even beyond that, the bank is putting, control in customers' hand. So today, with the USSD code, you could actually block your account if you find out that funds are leaving your account. And of course, within the app, you can also, either restrict or approve a transaction notification if you are not the person initiating that transaction. So there's a lot First Bank is doing in terms of protecting its customers. And of course, we are very, very responsive. We have our contact center. We also have our fraud management systems that reach out to customers, even when customers are not even aware of what is happening within their account. So First Bank has done a lot in terms of protecting customers' funds. I will keep doing that. I will keep eliciting feedback and taking feedback and working on them. So we're doing a lot. I will go to my presentation. A lot has been said, about this topic, cybersecurity in the volatile world. And the world is truly very volatile, very, very volatile today. But there are wars going on, Iran, US, you have the Russia, Ukraine war, you have insurgency within our, boundaries. You have a lot happening. And all these basically are integrated and interrelated, because you look at it as far away as US and Iran war is, fuel prices are going up. Cyber criminals are global, they are global, and they have no geographical or boundary restrictions. They go where the money is, where they can get the money. They get the money. In fact, we've even seen and heard, in the news where the nationals from other countries have been found within Nigerian space, actually carrying out and propagating cybercrime. Trust has taken a different meaning today. I think Yotide captured that, and Oluchukwu also spoke to that. Trust has a different meaning. Before, someone will ask you, did you hear from him? And you say yes, but did you hear from him has a different meaning. You could have heard from somebody, seen the person's picture, seen a video, had a video conversation, and that person is not who he said he is. So we need to actually reevaluate our idea about trust, about what trust is, and then, of course, re-engineer a mechanism for evaluating what is true and what is not true. Today, we speak about zero trust within the technology space. But I think as individuals, we should apply zero trust in terms of evaluating what could also put us in danger. The CISO is here, and there is this favorite quote I got from him where he says that if you are not paying a price for that commodity, you might just be the price. You understand? Today, there is a lot of free apps on the internet, and these free apps, they are not trading. If they are not trading your data or trading you, of course, they are actually positioning you for fraud. So please, we should be very, very mindful. I will go to the slides. I like discussing on true life events, but as we go through the presentation, I will also cite various, true life issues that could also reinforce the need for us to continue to learn, be aware, and protect ourselves. So why this webinar matters? Of course, this webinar is very important at this time. As I stated earlier, there is a lot of issues happening globally and even nationally. And of course, with recession and, the global influence in terms of what is happening around the oil sector and prices shooting up, people are in need of funds. And a criminal mind will always be ingenious in terms of where he will get his next meal from. And not just next meal, he needs to go travel, he needs to drive big cars and all that. And of course, where does he come? He comes to our pockets. And of course, if you are not then able to protect yourself, you lose your money. So global fraud losses in 2025 ranking 442 billion. If you can just evaluate those figures and you understand that there's a lot going on within that space, and you don't want to add your own money to these numbers. So cyber criminals are exploiting global instability, economic volatility, and digital transformation to target everyday banking customers. Yes, we are all doing banking, and just like Oluchi stated, there's this urgency when a cyber criminal tries to contact you, because why? In that urgency, you will make mistake. There is this in a popular word we have popularized when we do awareness. Think before you click. It is absolutely important that you take a deep breath before you react to any instruction that comes to you for you to take some certain actions. So scams are becoming more personalized, more convincing, and harder to detect. The AI incursion into fraud has also elevated this attack, because AI basically could be leveraged for good and for bad. And the cyber criminals, of course, they are using this tool for very negative purposes. And of course, what AI gives is leverage. If you want to use it for good, it gives you a leverage in terms of, before we used to get emails, social engineering emails. Let me tell you. Social engineering emails. So we used to get social engineering emails that you can actually tell from the way the email is constructed that this email is social engineered, bad grammar, bad English. I think they alluded to this. But today, these emails are clean and as precise as if they are coming from an English major. So this is a big issue. And of course, we all have to be very, very, conversant with this. America lost over 20 billion to cybercrime in 2025 alone, and about 37% increase in complaints from 2024, while Nigeria lost about $500 million in the same period. So these are issues, and of course, awareness is our strongest protection. We need to be aware. Now, I always ask this question when fraud happens. I ask a simple question. I say, who are the people that are losing money? That's where how you can evaluate if the losses are coming from informed people, aware people, or people that are not aware. You could be educated and not aware in terms of when it comes to fraud management and, of course, protection, self-protection. You will notice that a lot of people that are within the financial space, they hardly lose funds. I've actually carried out research and evaluations to see where these losses are coming from. And the differentiator is basically awareness and knowledge. The more you are aware, the less you're likely to fall for these scams and frauds, and the more you're able to then protect yourself. And of course, if you're aware, continue to educate people around you, because once we build that circle of influence in terms of sensitization and awareness, I'm telling you, the criminals would, of course, be hindered from further propagating these attacks. So we need to be our brother's keeper, really. So what we will cover today, I'll just go through the agenda for today. So we are going to look at how global events fuel cybercrime, scam targeting customers, red flags and warning signs, safe banking practices, what to do when you suspect fraud. How global events fuel cybercrime. So today, like I mentioned earlier, geopolitical instability. Today, you have various wars happening across the world. And when these events happen, what happens? A lot of, nation state actors, they build malwares in order to ground, national assets. We heard of when the Ukraine and Russian war started, how Ukraine was able to deploy, malware and cyber attacks to ground even rail lines, power infrastructure, water management systems. But what also happens is that these malwares also end up within the public domain. So the first people that actually get this malware are cyber criminals, and they re-engineer these attacks and then they use it on individuals. So geopolitical instability, the economic shifts, and of course rapid digitization is what is most times influencing the heightened state of cyber criminality across the globe. Cyber criminals constantly weaponize current events, economic crises. I remember during COVID, palliative, a lot. In fact, today America is still pursuing people that actually defrauded a lot of citizens through COVID palliatives. So fear and urgency, just like we've also stated, also spurs these attacks, because the cyber criminal always push on urgency. You need to do this now. So once I get a mail that speaks to urgency, that I need to do something immediately without validation, what I do is immediately take a deep breath, calm down, and go through that engagement again in order to establish if this is real. Just like has been communicated here, you seek for an alternative means of validation, because I've had instances where someone got an email, a scam email, and when the person got that email, the person called the scammer to validate. So of course, the scammer validated that the information passed to him was legitimate and that he should react to it. And when he reacted, of course, he was scammed. So you do not use the same channel that you were engaged with by a scammer to validate the authenticity of that information. It's just like where someone, you get a call and then you are told that a member of your family had an accident, and then that the person speaking to you is the medical doctor, and you're trying to validate that information from the person that called you. The first thing to do is call the person that was purportedly said to have been involved in that incident, or call people that are close to them, and then you will get the truth. Of course, digitalization, digital transformation is expanding the attack surface. Even today, you see very old people that are not conversant with technology being defrauded. And why? Is because they are onboarding on products and services that they do not fully understand. They don't understand these devices. And of course, they are onboarded. And when the scammers call and they say, please give me your ATM PAN, they don't understand that you need to protect that information. They share the PAN, they share OTPs, they share their passwords and their PINs, and of course you then see a fraud on their account, and you then start trying to recover those funds. But the reality is that once you have a digital device, that digital device should be treated like a blank check that you've signed your signature on, because I've seen people hand over their mobile phones and then somebody then does a quick transfer or do a reset and then hijack their devices. So please, we need to be very, very careful. I will just play a very short video. Yeah, I'll play this video. Please, let's listen to it. Sorry, no audio? No, thought I shared audio. Just wait, let me reshare. So please just confirm when the screen comes on. Zero.
Britain is under attack, not from the sea, sky or by land, but through our phones and screens. Cyber attacks are now one of the biggest economic threats that we face. They already cost the global economy £7 trillion a year, and £27 billion here in the UK. And one prediction that we can make about 2026 with grim certainty is that the number of these attacks is going to rise. Why? Well, AI has massively lowered the barriers to entry. You used to need lots of skilled hackers. Now we have something closer to vibe hacking. And criminal attacks don't just affect one company, they can ripple through an entire supply chain and even impact GDP. And we're also now starting to see what different countries are trying to achieve through their cyber attacks. Russia, disinformation and sabotage. China, espionage. North Korea, hard currency. And the most obvious targets for these attacks are those organizations involved in providing our critical national infrastructure. Because obviously, if they go down, the disruption to all of us is huge. Britain is among the most targeted countries in the world. This isn't just an IT issue, it's a national security issue. We are already under digital attack. The only question is, will we start acting like it?
Yeah, I'm sure we got the message. We are all under intense cyber attack. When do we start acting like if we're under attack? So the impression that you are safe is something you need to do away with. You know, when you have a heightened state of a situation, what you need to do is that you need to, you know, accept that reality and act like if is the current reality. You can see today, even reality is something different. Misinformation is something that is almost everywhere. Today, with the war, I follow the war with US and Iran, and I can't tell what reality is because you see a lot of videos, realistic videos of bombings that never happened. So please, we need to understand the role AI is playing today. And once you realize and accept that reality, then you start being safe. You start being safe. So AI has enhanced fraud, 4.5 times. And of course, this has impact on everybody. Agentic AI system can now autonomously plan and execute complete fraud campaigns from victim targeted to ransom demands without the initiator just having almost zero knowledge of how to, prime and execute these attacks. Criminal network collaborate globally. Criminals are collaborating even more than, cyber professionals. Today, we speak about, let's have a global engagement. Let's invite people so we can actually talk to them. But you see, criminal syndicate organizations are having repeat engagement. They are collaborating and they are actually pushing so hard because they know that at the end of the road, there is profit to be made. And where is that profit coming from? The profit is coming from me and you, especially if we are not aware. Then generative AI enables voice cloning. I'm sure we had what happened recently in the news where the president's voice was cloned and it was circulated widely. A lot of people actually felt that it was real and they went with that information. So we really need to understand how far-flung, AI and of course generative AI influence in terms of falsification of information has gone. And of course, fraud as a service platform is the new thing. Of course, with generative AI, you can actually push, become a syndicate within a few days, and with zero knowledge, you are actually pushing very advanced, attacks. So the entry barriers, just like Yetunde also spoke to, has actually been lowered, and more people are getting into that space. But of course, our law enforcement is carrying out their duties with the constant bust that we see online and we see on the TVs. But of course, we all need to ensure that we learn from these, situations. And of course, we continue to protect ourselves through the information that we have gained. Scams targeting customers. Of course, scams targeting customers, like has been shared by my colleague and of course our guest. Phishing and smishing attacks, they are on the increase. Fake emails, SMS, WhatsApp messages, Today, you go to Telegram, you are seeing false loan app advertisements where you're told that you could take loans at very ridiculous rates. Like I said earlier, if you are not paying anything, you are the product. We've seen people lose money through this, Facebook adverts of loans where they take companies, banks brand, and then embed in those advertisements, and then convince people to call them. And once you call them, you're actually submitting yourself, because first you have actually shown that you are naive and you don't have proper information. So the rest of the journey is easier for the scammers. And then, of course, voice impersonation and deepfake, it's on the rise. AI cloned voices, AI cloned videos, and even live streaming. You see, with AI capability, I can actually mask myself as being somebody else and go into a live video stream that basically I can convince the person I'm engaging to take some certain action without being the person they actually believe they're talking to. Then account takeover, which are the ATOs, criminal gain access to your banking credentials through social engineering. This is an old rinse and repeat kind of fraud, but it is still available today. People are losing money through social engineering attacks, where you are called and then you are asked to divulge some classified and confidential information like OTPs, your PIN, your card PAN, and all that. The bank continues to repeat that the bank will never call you to ask for your OTP. In fact, this is a message that has been passed for well over 10 years, and people are still falling for these scams. And we really need to get informed and get aware. Then investment and romance scams, these are very popular, like I said earlier. Investment schemes that come up on Facebook, people are told to join platforms that on Telegram they are not even aware of. And at the end of the day, when they are defrauded, they run to the bank for recovery. First thing first is that when you are brought into a social media forum, you don't know who the other players within that space are. You don't know. You might just be the only genuine human being or the scapegoat that has been brought for slaughter in that space. And then you see people posting that they made 20 million in a month, they made 30 million. Those are not real individuals. Those might even be avatars that have been put in those forums just to convince you further to actually invest. So we need to be very, very careful, and we need to be aware. Then fake banking apps and websites. This is it's out there, it's in our faces, but yes, the bank is doing a lot to ensure that these sort of pages do not stay up or are not even launched. They are constantly being shut down, and we also encourage customers to be very wary of these web pages and fake banking apps, and report them. Impersonation of authorities. Yes, scammers pose as law enforcement, regulators, and bank executives. We see a lot of this happening, and please, we need to all be aware. Phishing and fake banking websites, of course, like I said, criminals send fake emails, SMS. WhatsApp message impersonations, and First Bank with urgent warning about your account. Your account has been suspended. Click here to verify. So there's a lot of these engagements happening. The cyber criminals are always on this quest, because it's just like you go to market every day to sell. For them, is their trade. They will not get tired from sending out those messages and getting people baited, and then of course freezing them and taking their money, because it's in doing this that they make their money. So we need to be very aware. Fake banking websites replicate legitimate portals, portal persons for person. So using AI, in fact, in seconds, these cyber criminals can launch multiple websites lookalike websites where they then, leverage this to attract, legitimate individuals to click on them, and then they start to then engage them and flex them. So red flags, slightly altered URLs. Yes, this is what you have to look out for. If you get any of these emails and that directs you to click on a URL, please look closely at the URL and try to see if it makes any sense. But the reality and what you need to do is actually go to access any services or products. Go to the organization, approved and legitimate website. Always type the bank URL directly into your browser. Never click on links from messages. That is the advice. Social media messaging and app scams. Well, like I said, Facebook is one ground that, a lot of these criminals use, for social media and messaging app scams. They go to those places, they advertise fake loans, advertise fake businesses. And of course, people get to click. And once you click, you have actually submitted yourself for flexing. And once they get a hold of you, they then start, in fact, I've seen instances where, someone has given them money and they told him, okay, you've given us this amount. If you need to get out of this, give us more money. So you've paid for that investment, and they say, okay, if you want to get, the interest, now you have to pay additional sum. And the person kept on paying because the person was looking at the point of recovery. But just like, scam is a sinkhole. Once you get into it, once you struggle, it's like quicksand. Once you struggle, you fall in deeper. The idea is to count your losses and leave. Count your losses at the point of recovery, the point you realize that you're being scammed. Do not dig yourself further into that sinkhole. Count yourself, advise yourself and leave. That is the quickest way the best way is to be aware. Second, if you're falling into a scam, once you realize it's a scam, back out quickly. Then account takeover for resulted in more than $15.6 billion in reported losses in US in 2024, and reports increased by over 36% compared to the previous year. In Nigeria, the FITC predicts an uptick in account takeover scams in 2026. So the figures are going up, and basically it's a simple fraud. Someone calls you or socially engineers you and then requests for OTP and PIN or card PAN. And once you submit these credentials, the person can actually provision a device on your account and then siphon your money. So we need to be very, very aware. So key lesson: no legitimate bank employee will ever ask you for your OTP. One-time password PIN is called personally identifiable identification number. Pick for a reason. It is personal to you. It is not something you give out to any third party. Nobody, I repeat, nobody should get access to your PIN. And no organizations, most especially banks, would call you to request for your OTP, your PIN, or your full card PAN. It is something that no one would do. And anybody asking you for that is out to defraud you. Mobile banking and SIM swap frauds. And this is very, very key, because today, a lot of us, we travel abroad, we're not using the mobile devices that are tied to our accounts. And then these accounts, the telcos, the telecommunication companies, have a duration in which your account will be inactive. Then they recycle it. They basically propose it and then send it to somebody else. And once that thing is sent to someone else, the person starts receiving alerts on your behalf, what do you think the person will do, even if the person is not a criminal? So we need to, if you're traveling for a long time, or if you're not going to be using your phone number for a long time, the best thing to do is to write to your bank and ask them to delete that number on your account. Otherwise, do not go and I've seen, I spoke to someone and he said that he doesn't want to, he refused to activate his, transaction alert on his account. One question I asked him, if something happens to your account, how do you get to know? If there are transactions that are not legitimate that are happening on your account and you have deactivated transaction alert or SMS alert, how do you get to know? So please, we need to understand how these systems work in order to efficiently use them. So SIM swap, I've spoken about that. They convince your mobile carriers to transfer your number to their SIM, or of course, this is periodically done if you are running an inactive phone number. All your SMS, OTPs intercepted, all your SMS verification codes are now delivered to the criminal device, and then account is drained. It's a simple attack, and we're seeing a lot of this is happening, and it basically boils down to knowledge of knowing what the right thing to do. Use authenticator apps instead of SMS for 2FA. Set a PIN with your mobile carrier. Never share your carrier account details. And also, I see people that do not put, a PIN lock on their SIM. If your mobile device is stolen, what then happens? The person can actually retrieve your SIM and insert it to a new mobile device and then carry out transactions. So please ensure you activate a PIN, a SIM lock. ATM and card skimming threats. Of course, if we use ATMs, we need to be very wary. I've had instances where I was at an ATM gallery and I saw someone loitering. That person was just moving about. And after some time, the person approached a customer that was doing a transaction. Then, after he spoke to the customer was about to take the actions he directed him, and then I intercepted and I started asking questions. The question I asked the customer, I said, sorry, what did this young man tell you? He said that he couldn't use his card and he wanted him to receive funds and draw down cash on his behalf. That it has a lot of risk to it. Those funds could be funds that have been obtained through criminal, activities. And once that fund is transferred to you, you become part of that, investigation. So please, we need to be very, very aware. When you get to the ATM point and you want to do a transaction, check for skimming devices. If there are overlay attachments on the ATMs, if there are, please report it to the security staff that are within that space. And secondly, if someone is right behind you, please ask the person to give you some space, some transaction distance. There are some ATMs you go to, you see the markers on the floor where the next person should stand from. Please ensure that you ask, people behind you to obey that distance, because a lot of people there, you don't know why they are in that space. Some could just be there to show that off and pick your pin. We've had examples where there are skimming devices that trap cards, and these guys, because they've captured your pin, they're able to then pull money from your account. Or otherwise, in some instances, they actually swap your card. It's a sleight of finger. They swap your card, give you a false card, and then when you leave, they empty your account. So we need to be very conversant of this. Skimming costs customers and financial institutions over $1 billion annually, $1 billion annually. And of course, high-risk locations, non-bank ATMs at gas stations or within estates, or ATMs that are in spaces that are not well lit. Those are, areas. I wouldn't use an ATM space that is not well lit, because you don't know what is hiding in that ATM. So please, we should be very, very wary of this. red flags and warning signs. What are the red flags? Suspicious links or attachments. You know, when you get an unexpected link or attachment from known or slightly altered email address. So somebody you don't know, unsolicited message comes with an suspicious link or attachment. You know, you might think, oh, what harm is in an attachment? It could actually be a malware. It could be a keylogger that logs, that logs your keystrokes from your keyboard, and that person has access to other information, and that could do a lot of damage with that information. You know, when an email is pushing for urgency and pressure, asking you that you must act now, you must respond now. Like I said, take a deep breath, step back, and then reevaluate that message. You need to reevaluate that message to not always be in a hurry to respond. Then request for credentials. Any attempt to request for your credentials, please, it's a definite no-no. Even if it's from a bank staff, do not release your OTP pins or plan, BVN, passwords, any of these, information that has been classified as confidential. Unusual pressure tactics, call and messages, threatening messages, appealing, subtle, like sometimes, this social engineering applies subtle appeal in order to convince you to release information. I've had instances where, information I've gotten where people are called on their birthday and they are told that there is a gift from someone, an anonymous person for them, and they are told that there is a code for them to activate the release of that package. Just imagine, and it turns out to be their mobile banking PIN that is being reset to hijack the account. So we need to be very, very well informed. Altered URLs are spoken about this. Please evaluate when you're going to any, specifically transaction-based URLs. Please launch those URLs from the original landing page of the organization. And of course, do not click on URLs that are sent to you, especially if they are financially inclined. If it sounds too good to be true, please, it is not true. It is not true. Though somebody just calls you and said that you have a package because it's your birthday. Why is every other person not receiving that package? Somebody calls you and says you won a ticket to Bahamas. In fact, one thing we need to also be very careful of is, I've seen a lot of this happen where I'm in a filling station and somebody, or at the airport, somebody approaches me and says that there is a bonanza or something, there's a gift, and all they need is my details. Most social engineering attacks originate from you giving out those information. So please do not be in a hurry to win a prize. Do not be in a hurry to give out classified and confidential information that belongs to you. Safe banking practices, the do's and don'ts. Use strong, unique passwords to enable two-factor authentication. Please do not go and use 1, 2, 3, 4 to 8. Every hacker in this world knows that is what most people use. Every hacker can tell you for free. And then if your PIN is 1, 2, 3, 4, also understand that hackers know, because typically a cyber criminal is also a psychologist. That's why they go into social engineering. They understand that people would want to use PINs and passwords that they can easily remember. And that's the first thing they will try to guess when they try to attack that individual. Confirm all requests through official First Bank channels before acting. Please, if you get information, the idea is to reach out to the organization and validate using their regular channels, be it first contact, be it, reaching out to friends and family members that might work with the organization. But please, the contact center numbers are there. They are always open and they always receive calls, and they will always guide in instances where you are in doubt. Regularly update your mobile banking app. That is very, very key. and then monitor your account for unfamiliar transactions. It is very, very important you do this. And of course, save and use First Bank verified contact numbers. The first contact number, please always have it on feed die. So if there's an issue, you can quickly report. We have evaluated this and we found out that quick reporting and quick elicites quick intervention, and it saves almost 70% of fraud cases that would have actually been, or fraud sums that would have actually been lost. So don't share your OTP, please. Don't click on unfamiliar links. Use public Wi-Fi. Please do not use public Wi-Fi, because you don't know. It could be an open Wi-Fi, but of course you don't know what else you're also giving out for free. Approve transaction you did not do. Not approve transactions that you did not initiate. For the based authorization. Install apps from an official. Please do not go outside of your app store to install or update your applications. And of course, verify before you act. Stop, question, verify before you act. It is key to follow this sequence. Stop. Don't be in a hurry. Question, why is this information being requested from me? And then verify. Contact the organization, and of course act once you take a decision that this could be, even if it's 10 to 90% chance that it could be a fraud, please, it's better for you to back out. What to do when you suspect fraud? Of course, stop all interaction, contact First Bank immediately, secure your account, monitor and follow up. These steps always work. And in conclusion, I'll say cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. It's not a responsibility that is for your organization or for your family. It's a shared responsibility. Like I said earlier, if we can take it upon ourselves to educate even one person every day, I'm telling you, we would have a safer space and a safer world. So please, like I said, cyber criminals are becoming more sophisticated, but so can you. You can also help by being champions of cybersecurity awareness. Just like First Bank have consistently brought this engagement to you for 4 years, and even spanning beyond that, you could also make yourself a champion by also taking the learning from this awareness and also spreading that gospel of good news. The person you save today could be the person that could also help you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. I'll pass the baton back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see why we saved this for as the third presentation of the day? Yes, it was extremely comprehensive, extremely in-depth, and extremely real as well. Like all of the examples, all of the advice, very, very useful that were given to us. So yeah, I like the reactions. Let's keep the reactions coming. A lot of things have been said. Where do I even start, right? I mean, from the numbers, right, telling us exactly that this is not a problem that is theoretical. Like billions of dollars, billions of naira is being lost every single day. He walked us into the mindset of the attacker, how they think psychologically, right, and the tactics and the real life tricks that they use to bait us, right, to bait all of us as customers and to defraud us, including that sunk cost fallacy where think, oh, you will recover, and the person is still digging the grave deeply, right? Do you understand? It's something based on years of experience of seeing these things happen, and of the things that we should do, or the behaviors that we should begin to emulate today to ensure that we keep ourselves safe, doing our part as the bank is doing its own part, right? So thank you very, 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 very much, Mr. Emmanuel, for that presentation, concluding the presentation sessions of the day. So we'll just quickly move on right now to the panelists section. So here I'll just be asking the panelists a few questions. I know there are a lot of questions in the live chat. We'll come to that. So let me just ask just 3 questions, one for each panelist, right? So I think the first question I would go to our distinguished guest Yetunde from Deloitte, the manager from Deloitte. Yetunde, I don't know if you are on the call. Can you hear me? Just let us.
Yes, I'm on the call.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So the question I would ask, right? We've discussed this from the length and the breadth of the topic of the threats, right? But I just want you to break it down since we are coming to the end of the presentation. So I want the customers to go home on their fingertips in simple terms. how global events that we are witnessing, economic instability, geopolitical tensions, issues in Iran, Middle East, everywhere, right? How are those events directly influencing cybercrime, the world of cybercrime today, especially as it affects all our customers and in all the locations where we do our business?
Okay, can you hear me? Am I
Yes,
still
I can.
audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you for that. Just like I mentioned that the way we read the news, the way we follow the trends, the cyber criminals, they also, read the news, they follow the chaos, they know what is happening as well. And they try to, because this is their enterprise, this is their work. And so they try to see how can we profit, how can we leverage whatever is happening and make profit and profit from it. Um, from everything that is happening around the world, for example, the war, the Israel, Iraq, Ukraine, Russia, everything that is happening around the world, they're also following and they're like, okay, now we know if you've been following, you will see that um, critical infrastructures are being targeted. Some of these things might not directly affect customers, right? But they usually have ripple effects. You can take, for example, if critical infrastructure, such as like maybe the telco is being targeted, or even maybe, the banks being targeted, that would then sort of affect customers. If network is down today, then we can't we'll go back to the days of GSM, where in fact we might not even be able to even make calls, depending on the impact, how severe it is. So it might not directly affect this global event, might not directly affect, but the ripple effects will then, cascade down to customers and everybody. Also, looking at they can also just follow what is happening and say, okay, fine. Maybe they're not directly attacking you, but they create news. So everybody is interested in what is happening. Everybody is being talked about, and they create phishing, the headlines. Oh, this has happened. Uh, um, um, US just sent a drone or just sent a missile to Iraq, something like that, something catchy. And you want to, because you are interested, everybody should be interested in global events, right? Because you are interested, you click and you want to check and you are curious. So they can also use this and you click on those links. You never know what is behind. And I said that it could be that behind that link you are clicking could be your credentials being harvested, could be that you are downloading something that will then harm your devices. So that is another way that they can do that. And even talking about Nigeria, let's not even talk about what is happening across the globe. Bringing it down home, here we are approaching election period. We are seeing, campaigns, and cyber criminals also will think about, oh, how can we leverage what is happening around us to they can say that, oh, we are from social party and we are rewarding people. And we have heard, I think Emmanuel did justice to just speaking about how if you should say no to freebies. Just yesterday, no, before yesterday, I was at ICM and somebody approached me and said, I have a gift voucher for you. But I could see that the person had a like a notepad taking personal information. I knew that if I was interested in that gift, I would have to pass with something, my personal information. And for me, my personal information is too valuable for whatever gift card, whatever voucher you would want to give me. So I said, excuse me, I do not do freebies. So we also need to mature to that level because everything we do at this point in this world, it matters. Our digital footprint, the way you give out information, what you click, what you decide to visit, all of those things matter. Um, then also, I think I spoke about all these major events happening. You can say that, oh, somebody can say, yes, because of what is happening in Iraq, what is happening in Iran, we are setting up, the President Trump has set up a palliative, a relief package. And if you are interested, you need to be mindful. There is no relief package that Trump will set up that will affect you. We are not in Iraq. So we need to be mindful of all of these things and just be careful. Don't be too curious when it comes to links. It's good to be curious because we in cybersecurity we say for the career you should be curious. But then again, when it has to do with clicking some links, checking some maybe going on some sites, don't be too curious. They say curiosity kills the cat. Don't be the cat. Don't die of curiosity. I'm
All
just going
right.
to end here.
All
Thank
right,
you.
all right. Thank you very, very much for that comprehensive answer to the question. And yes, everything you said is actually things that we are observing, right? To be honest, critical infrastructure, the angle of that, right? If it's impacted, it would affect us, right? I mean, all of the bellicose actions going on in those regions where there's war, right? If they decide to start blowing up fiber optic cables now, obviously we'll be affected, right? And yes, all of these news, right, can be used to create the pretext to fish. So all the fishing will become more tailored now, or they know that election is coming. So these are actually things that are happening. So I've also received some of those messages as well, those SMSs as well, saying, "Oh, there's this organization for a political party saying that, oh, click on this link to register and collect your free money." This is exactly the tactics, and they are happening live. So thank you very, very much, Yetunde, for that very comprehensive and very clear answer to that question. So I'll move on now to Mr. Oluchukwu, sir. Are you on the call? Let me just
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, okay, beautiful, beautiful. So the question I have for you, right, is delay, basically the risk of so I want you to paint a picture to our customers, right? An event has happened, maybe they notice somebody is or they receive an alert that they did not initiate, right? Something like that. What is the importance of speed in helping them protect their accounts? So if they see that event and to prevent that attacker from stealing their money, what is the importance of acting fast and what should they do? That's the question I have for you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dina. I think I want to answer this question from what we see on a day-to-day. When, as a customer, I have discovered that I have compromised at one point, but I said they have to start from the contact with the customer, and they are giving out the OTP, and they are receiving a lot, or you suspect maybe it has not happened, but you feel that the person you have given your OTP shouldn't have it. Like I always say, the first 1 minute to 30 minutes is very important, because maybe because the fraudsters they work like a scheme. They are sitting down, getting ready to hit you. Once you give them the OTP, they are debiting your account as quickly as possible. So the response need to be fast, and the response needs to be exact with complete information. Whether you are talking to the first contact, or you are talking to a branch. So that first 30 minutes is important. And to the best of my knowledge, most times when you get that information and there's a lapse of 1 hour, you go to the customer account, it's where the money has been moved.
Wow.
Moved 1 foot forward. So it's important the customer respond as quickly as you suspect that you have released the information that shouldn't be released, or you have confirmed to yourself that, oh, my system has been compromised, my details have been compromised. You need to act. The very first 30 minutes is important. Next 1 hour is also important, but report as quickly as you know that the account details has been compromised. It's important.
Compromised. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I didn't even know, like 1 hour. So that's how fast we need to actually take this. So there's no delay. As soon as you notice that you mistakenly click the link or you mistakenly give out your details, you give out your PIN, 1 hour that's what we are. I was thinking, oh, it takes some time. No, 1 hour. Within an hour, you must respond. Thank you very much, sir, for that feedback. So the final question is to Mr. Emmanuel, sir. So I want you to give us 3 habits. Obviously, there are ways, behaviors that we have, how we transact, right? Customers daily, actions that we do. We want you to tell us 3 things or 3 habits that we should start to, good habits. If we are doing it already, that's fine. If you're not doing it, we should learn to start doing them. 3 habits that we should take forward. Yes, going forward as customers.
I think the first habit, Oluchukwu alluded to that, is to have your bank's contact number on the speed down. That is absolutely very important. It's like having your doctor's number stored on your mobile phone. So even 1 hour is too much because I've seen actually the speed in which these criminals empty accounts. Years back, I was privileged to be at the front desk, and I can tell you, you get a report now, and then you see that the fraudsters have actually done multiple debits on that account. So it is absolutely important that you have first contact number on your phone. You never know when you will need it, just like you don't know when you will need to reach out to your doctor in an emergency. So it is very, very important. And also develop this habit of going to reevaluate your transactions. I always do that, even as at today. I always go to my email or to my phone to go through my alerts, transaction alerts, and evaluate whether there's anything sticking out, there is anything is funny. And of course, also maintain this habit. I actually highlighted this of ensuring that the next person behind you, when you are running an ATM transaction, it gives you some distance. I have even intervened in a lot of instances where I see people, eyes over on the ATM, even assisting and collecting ATM cards and helping customers do transactions. How would you allow someone take your card, give the person your PIN, and then you believe that once you have that physical card that you are safe? Mind you, all that card holds is that PAN, and that PAN is on the card. And once the person takes your PIN and the person has a means of getting your OTP, the chain is complete. So we need to be very, very wary of the kind of unsolicited help we get while using service points, not just ATMs. I've seen instances where a POS operator tried to walk away with my card and was pretending that she was not aware of what she was doing. I was at a filling station. I was buying for, okay, can I charge you? Gave her my card, and she just pretended like if she was in some kind of trance and was walking away with my card. And I said, sorry, please, young lady, can you bring my card back? And why are you taking my? I said, give me my card. Go to and finish what you're doing, and then come back, and then we can then conclude this transaction. So, in summary, I would say always be cautious, always be available. A lot of people get carried away by activities around them, and those are the opportunities that cyber criminals are looking for. That urgency, that fear, you understand? Once that sets in, or distractions, people have clicked on links, have given out their credentials when they then realized that they have done something wrong. Yes, presence of mind is very key, but also realization that you have done something wrong and retracing your step. Like I said before, to not further deepen yourself in that sinkhole. It is never too late to back out. So if I've lost 1,000 naira, don't go trying to recover the 1,000 from the cyber criminals, because you're going to lose 2,000 and 3,000. The best thing is to back out and report. And of course, if law enforcement is required, you then escalate to law enforcement and see if apprehension is possible. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much for that. Yes, for that very clear response. So being alert is very important, right? Being very alert and observing all of the do's and don'ts and all of the noting the red flags that we've discussed extensively during the presentation. So while I'll go to the Q&A session and take as many questions as I can, our time is already far well spent. But in the meantime, I would ask that the quiz. So I mentioned at the beginning that there's going to be a quiz for those who paid attention, and the top three would be engaged, like to let them know that they won the quiz, and we'll give them something. So let's deploy that quiz right now, and while we take the question, as many as we can in the short time that we have. Okay, so let me just see. So the first question I'm seeing here, that said a lot of we cannot take 90% of these questions. So let's just start with this one. So how do the question is from Olufemi Olanikpekun. He said, how do emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and the Internet of Things influence cybersecurity risks and defense strategies in today's digital world? So that's the question. How do emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and Internet of Things influence cybersecurity risks and defense strategies in today's digital world? So I don't know. Let's see. Our panelists who wants to take the question, Mr. Emmanuel. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, sir, please go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start off by saying the influence is in two ways, positive and negatively. I know speed has always been an issue with humans. We have always been in a quest for speed. A human being started by running, then they developed tools. They started using tools they used animals, then they started using tools like cycles and of course cars today and then planes. With AI, the speed of both intervention and attack has increased. It's beyond human comprehension today. So emerging technologies, AI, and of course machine learning, neural analytics, talk about all the emerging technologies. The leverage it gives is speed of intervention. So today, there's a active build-up of AI into both security and even service tools, because they actually take the speed beyond what humans can do, and speed is everything. You need today, if you order for something, you need it delivered immediately. You don't want to wait 3 months. You request for transfers. People want transfers to be instantaneous. You do a transaction, you want to get the credit immediately, even though you don't need the money immediately. But humans have always been, I would say, out for speed, and that's what emerging technologies give us: reach, speed, stability, but most especially speed. And with speed of intervention and speed of attack, both ways, positively and negatively, is something we keep on battling and trying to outdo one another. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for that. So let's go to the next question quickly. Yusuf Samaila asked, what do we do to avoid SIM swap/cloning? What do you do to avoid SIM swap/cloning? So I don't know, Mr. Alochukwu, sir, I don't know if you want to attempt this question or
Yeah, thanks. I think Manuel talked about it in his presentation. Most times, there are two tendencies here. There is the telco side and there is the bank side. You give a bank a number, and then you have a number with telco. So if you stop using a number or are traveling abroad and you know that for a long time you won't be available, the best thing for you to do is to write to the bank. When you write to the bank and say, take out this number, I think that number will be taken for your personal information and will count against you again. Even if they do a SIM swap on it, you won't be able to do financial transactions with it. And that's the way to guide against things, because, of course, the bank cannot control what the telco wants to do in their own space, but we can control what we do within our space. So are you as a customer to from the bank, I'm not going to be available, or I have dropped this phone, I'm no longer using this phone. So for that reason, so take this phone out of my personal information with you. And then either you replace it with a new one if you're within the country, or keep it out with that phone until I come back from my journey or stuff like that. That way, you go to home sleeping from SIM swap issue. Thank you.
All right, thank you very, very much. So I think we'll be rounding up now. So I will take one last question. That's from from Gaius Dala. It's a simple one. So I would leave this for Yetunde to answer, right? So he asked, so and Yetunde as well, when you answer, you also give your let's say closing your parting words or closing remark to the house, to our customers. And then after her, then Oluchukwu will give, and then finally Mr. Emmanuel will round up with his closing charge. So the question they asked is, so she asked this, or Gaius asked was, what is multi-factor authentication? So I want you to answer that question and answer why it is important. So why multi-factor authentication is important? What is it and why is it important? And then give your closing charge. And then we'll go on to Oluchukwu and Mr. Emmanuel. And then finally Siso, if he's around.
Okay, thank you. So multi-factor authentication is it's a technology. What it means is that instead of the way you have your PIN or your password, for example, for you to log into your email, you have your password. So your password, if you just have only your password, that means you only have one factor, a single factor authentication, just one. So your password and you are able to log into your email. Now, multi-factor means you have more than one means of authenticating. So it's not you're not just going to with your password alone is not enough. It will ask you for that's why when you're doing transaction, even after you've entered your password, it will now ask you for maybe OTP, that one-time password. So that code that your bank will send to you. So you then use that one. Or better still, you could also have maybe you have a token, the hardware, you could be hardware or even the software token. So authentication is just something that it could be something you have like a token, or something that you are like maybe your biometric information. For example, if you need to maybe enter your password, then you then put it on your face or your voice to say, okay, it is me, something like that. And it could also be something that you have. So like your token, something you are, something you have, or something that you do. So those are like
All right.
different means of
All right.
authenticating into your device. So
Authentication.
my closing charge
All
would
right.
be that thank you. Just my final thoughts would be about trust. I want to go back to trust. Trust in this digital economy, it's a currency. It's the currency of digital economy. And like I said, it's your biggest asset. And you don't want to spend it anyhow. Don't trust everything. Don't seeing is no longer believing, hearing is no longer believing. Verify and verify and verify. You cannot verify enough. We cannot even emphasize it. So just verify before you
All
trust.
right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Verify before you trust. Very, very important. Oluchike, over to you. You have any parting words for us?
Yeah, let me end by saying that you have what the customer, what the customer need to do the transaction, and that's why they're always contacting you. So because of if you leave them on their own, they can't defraud you. So guard your credentials very jealously. Don't share, don't give anybody. If you must give anybody, give to yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Finally, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you, Samadina, and of course, thank you, our guests, and thank you so much, all our participants. Really, really grateful for you being here. I've been reading through the messages and, of course, the praises and support. It's very valuable to us, just like your, patronage and being a customer is to me and also to the bank. So we are doing this because of you, and we'll continue to do it. I had there's some messages speaking to about repeating this every 6 months. We actually do this every quarter. So please, I just wanted to pass that information. This is something we do every quarter, and we've been consistent for over 4 years. And my closing remark would be, you see, if just like I will repeat what the CISO says, if you can implement just 20% of what has been shared here today, you will almost ensure that you do not fall prey to hackers or to cyber criminals 80% of the time. I'm telling you, just 20%, not 100% of what we said, 20%. Then imagine where you can execute 100% of the controls, the advices, and of course, the feedback and learnings we have shared in this engagement. So please, it pays to be safe. The recession is biting hard. Things are tough. The worst thing to happen to anyone is to lose money you've worked hard for. The elections and activities that we normally see that seeds, the explosion of social-based attacks, and likewise is here. Elections are here. You will see more of those palliative or inducements related to voters card and all that. People telling you to snap and share your voters card so you can get money. Those things will come on. They always repeat. Like I said earlier, it's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Most of the attacks are never new. They are only recycled. Yes, we are seeing some new attack, but I'm telling you, most of the attacks, if not 90 to 95% of what we have stated here, are what will be repeated. So please, let's keep ourselves safe. Let's also educate our circles of friends and family, because in doing this, you won't have people running to you when they've lost money to say you should support them. It's one way of also safeguarding yourself when you educate everybody around you. I will also call on the CISO if he's available for him to give us a closing remark. But before that, I'll just say thank you to everyone that has in one way or the other supported this webinar and the successful delivery today, inclusive of our back-end crew, our M&CC, that is the marketing and corporate communication team, and everybody that has in one way or the other supported the delivery. We will continue to do this. We won't stop. We know the value it's adding, and of course, we'll continue to deliver that value. Thank you.